Are we good? Okay, yeah, we're good. And forgot I turned the little sky off there for a second. All right. On time. I think I have all my shit in order. So, hello everyone and welcome back to another stream. So been doing quite a bit of drawing. I've gotten a few new whips going. That primarily I'm going to work on them off stream, but they are open right now, so just to show them off. I've gotten started on the emotional support twink sticker and beginning the sketch on the emotional support Catboy sticker. So two upcoming designs over the next couple of months. So hoping to get these prepped for Anime Fuse in September, and hoping for a couple of new merch designs for Anime Fuse. So we'll see how far we can go because I'm hoping to take advantage of this week and get as much art done as possible. So for the stream, though, we are going to be continuing on the Seijou 4 DBD AU featuring the boys as the Legion. And once again, just think that they're a perfect fit because for me, Seijou tends to travel as more of a polycule than anything else. And yeah, you do not separate these four. And unfortunately, was not able to squeeze Suga into this one because for me, Suga is honorary Seijou. And I did forget one thing, and that was to pull up chat. There we go. We got chat now. Alrighty. Okay, we are Gucci now. Alright. So I think I mentioned this last week. Part of my issue with figuring out Mattsun is that I think I might need to either figure out Maki first. Because the thing with Mattsun is while Maki is going to be sitting in Mattsun's lap, Mattsun is also going to be draped. Because the other thing that I could do potentially with Maki is not necessarily have him in Mattsun's lap, but just have like their legs tangled up with each other. I think that's where I'm ultimately going to have to go because from where Mattsun is at versus where Maki will be, I don't think his ass will land anywhere near Mattsun. It's getting hot. Okay. I'm trying to get my brain in order. I have been drawing all day, so part of the challenge is trying to. I have been drawing most of the day, not the entire day, but most of the day, and my computer's going slow. Let me close a few tabs. Do I need any of these open? Okay, I'll just go ahead and close a few tabs because I think it is kind of leading to a bit of a lag. Okay. So if we do Mattsun, see, because the other issue with the way Mattsun is positioned, because the bench is going to be right here, so if I'm not careful, I may accidentally overlap Mattsun with the, because I could also have him sitting, like, literally right on top of Oikawa's foot, because the bench is right there, unless I move the edge of the bench here, but then Mattsun and Maki aren't going to be in the same plane anymore, or rather, they're not going to be within the same depth. So I think Mattsun's ribcage against the bench would fall maybe right here. Have his arm drape over his Oikawa's leg like that. And then have his leg over here. Then I'm kind of debating if maybe have his other leg kind of just like go underneath the bench and then wrap back here and then have Maki, because I could have it so that his rib cage is literally pressed against the bench. And then there is a bench there, so what I could do is just have him wrap his other, like, this leg around Oikawa's leg, and then literally just have Maki just chilling there. And then literally it's just having their legs tangled up, because I think that's the closest we're gonna get, because I don't think I'll be able to put Mattsun in a position where Maki can literally sit in his lap. Unless I literally have both of them between Oikawa's legs. Yeah, I think we're gonna have to do this little leg wraparound thing, which, to be honest, is something I would have done it in high school with my friends. So I know it's possible. Maybe. I could just be trying to lie to myself. Okay, let's go. Yeah, right now my brain is kind of struggling because I have been drawing all day. I also don't want to put Maki on the same layer as Mattsun. I need to keep track of that as well. Okay, so let's go ahead and have. I need to make sure their heads all stay the same. A little bit of a dark blue. So, how would I place his arm? Because I could have it so that his face is more tucked into the crook of his elbow. And that would mean, so a lot of Mattsun's body is pretty much going to be, because if he's the next question is, what am I going to do with his other arm? Because it, like, I'm just thinking it's just a lot of, where does his body go? Which, again, I am literally drawing him into the bench like this, because the bench is going to be, unless I move the bench back so that Oikawa is seated a little more forward. And I need to resize the canvas. I need to resize them. I'd much rather make them smaller than have to make them bigger. Yeah, it's just trying to fit him in a 3D space. I should have made a 3D model for this one. I should have. Because his ribcage is going to get pressed right against here. His center is going to be somewhere around here. That means his shoulder. See, the thing is, Maki's legs are gonna eventually fall off. I do need to shrink him down. Either that or turn this into a landscape over a portrait. Because if I keep it as a portrait, I'm afraid it's going to look too cramped. But in terms of composition, the fact that we have a bit of an L going, we'll see. We shall see. Because I need to resize them. Can I do this? Oh, I can't. Okay, so did make them a little bit more smaller just so that they could fit in the screen a little bit better. So, Mattsun. I think Mattsun's body is going to have to be more tilted to the side. So, if anything, this is Mattsun's shoulder, let's say, for example. So, his head. It's just kind of difficult trying to figure out where Mattsun goes. Because Maki is pretty easy because I already have a plan for him to be just resting against Oikawa's knee. Mattsun, I knew he was going to be resting over his thigh, but didn't really think through how I was going to draw that in. Let's just work on our cat boy. Like, I think part of the problem is too, my brain just wants to figure out that his composition. Too many whips going. That's too many whips. I guess if I figure out where his head is first, I think that what's gonna help because he is gonna have to be a little bit more like facing towards the others, so his body is gonna be more pointed inward. But part of the problem, if I do his body pointed inward, I am going to end up drawing him. I just need to make sure that this is his side. And then his leg propped up here. And then his other leg kind of just hanging out here. Yeah, because his body is going to have to be tilted. That's going to be the side of his body. And then his arm is going to be... Don't mind the squiggles. I am figuring things out. It makes sense in my head. That's all that matters. Right now, his proportions are looking smaller than the rest of them. Because if I'm not mistaken, Mattsun is the tallest of the four of them, isn't he? Because I'm pretty sure Maki is shorter than Mattsun. Okay. Maki is exactly 6 feet. Mattsun's is around 6'2". Yeah, Mattsun's the tallest of all of them. Yeah, Mattsun is the tallest. I still need to draw in all their masks. Yeah, pretty Izumi's. I think I'm gonna have Mattsun hold his. But I think that's a good place to start. I'll delete that one. So if we do his head right here. I'd also help to start closing out some of my other windows. Oops. I'm debating if to have his and then have his eye contact just kind of like do this. I think I'm gonna have his head rested. I don't know if it makes sense because if I do his head rested just like literally like in the crook of his arms, head right here, and then looking up at Oikawa, like side glancing. Because what Maki's gonna do is literally head tilted back. Because ultimately, I do want their eyes going towards the knife. Maybe Oikawa looking at me because it's Oikawa, but ultimately that is the goal. I'm undecided on what I want from Mattsun. Because I already had a clear image for Oikawa and Izumi. I thought I had a clear image for Mattsun, but apparently I don't. I think I have a clear image for Maki. I think his head rested on Oikawa's lap would be the most in character for Mattsun. But it just becomes a question of how do I position his body so I'm not literally cutting him into the bench. Because that's my main concern. Because if I do the crook of the elbow resting, like he can have part of his shoulder over the bench, but his rib cage needs to be out here. Because this is where the edge of the bench is going to be at. Like I could have them very pressed close to Oikawa's leg, but I need to keep in mind where his rib cage is in comparison to the bench. So let's say I have him very close in, like I could cut him in at the closest here. So let's just go ahead. Oh, that's a nice breeze. It's been getting hot. Like comparatively to yesterday, I think it got cooler today, but it's been getting hot. Oh, that's a really nice breeze. Don't ask me what I'm doing. I have no idea what I'm doing. Like, legit have no idea what I'm doing right now. Because I could always just move him closer so that the bench doesn't become a concern. But part of the reason I want him draped over Oikawa is just to kind of get that intimate position rolled into the piece. The Seijou 4, like, me and Seijou, for me, they're a very touchy team. For me, they would be very touchy. These four specifically would be touchy. Iwaizumi would perpetually act as if he were annoyed by it, but they're touchy. I just need to keep in mind his ribcage would need to fall. And that's the thing, is that if he's going to be laying down on Oikawa, the orientation for this sphere would be something closer to this. How much gesture drawing am I going to have to do today? I need to do like more gesture type drawings. Because definitely this would be closer down here. Because here's the thing, is that it's too much of his arms. Because the other option is and then his eyes again would be pointing in that direction. I just feel like if we go with this position, that is too much happening with his arms, to be completely honest. Because the other option is to bring this arm down, because this leg is going to be up, and then his arm would literally be down here. Because I just feel like it's too much, like his arms are doing too much of the same thing. Because the other thing I could do too is like he's resting on his shoulder. And literally have him draped like that, and then have his arms go down like that. This is the messy part of the process. Although I'm still going to be debating what to do with that arm, because if Maki is going to be sitting here, not to mention if I do it like this, he feels too short. Mattsun literally feels too short for this position right here. Like, if anything, his butt is going to have to move down here. Like, his pelvis is gonna be here. Foot's gonna be there. Other leg is gonna be there. Like, I don't even think you'll be able to see the other arm. I really don't know how to place Mattsun in a way that makes sense here. But then again, if he's kind of like hunched over, that would shorten up some of his body a bit. Because I don't want his back facing the others. I do want it in a position that he's facing the other three. Because the thing about this leg, it's shooting back through the opening of the, so maybe like less of this cross motion and more of this. And again, his body would be less forward facing. It would need to be more side facing. Because his other hand could literally just be resting like where his hip meets his leg. What to do, what to do, what to do. Part of me is tempted to just start working on Maki. And then maybe it'll give us a better idea of how Mattsun's gonna fit in all this. Because Maki. See, and that's the thing is that if I'm gonna have these two here, I think Oikawa is gonna be further up along the bench. I think I'm gonna move the position of the bench to make the other two make more sense. Because right now, the edge of the bench is right where the bend of Oikawa's knee is. I think I'm going to move him forward in the chair so that way it gives Maki and Mattsun a little bit of space to fit. So he's going to be roughly at the edge. So I think we'll move forward with that. So that way Maki does have like the piece of his knee he can rest his head on. And then have Maki's leg overlap with Mattsun's. Mattsun, like I said, will have to get a little bit taller because he's feeling. Mattsun feels on the short side right now, and he is the tallest of all four of them. Okay, I think I don't know what I'm doing. I'm starting my life. No, no sé qué estoy haciendo. Okay, so let's go ahead. Let's actually sketch in the circle. Like I said, I do want to make it look like he's resting his head on Oikawa's knee. His head is going to be a little bit more on the turn side, but If I am able to make this work, I will be amazed with myself. I don't know why I drew his face, but it's low-key starting to creep me out. His face is freaking me the fuck out. Okay, we're gonna get rid of your eyes because they're kind of scaring me. They're mainly there just so that I know where his eye sockets are at. See, and that's the thing, is that it doesn't look like a very comfortable position either. See, the problem with this, I'll be honest, it doesn't look like a very comfortable position either. And it looks more like he's hugging his leg. Like, I don't know, there's something about it that doesn't. There's something in the body language that doesn't feel like remorseless killer. It just feels, well, I guess it would be a. It's one of those things that, like, in a horror AU where they're a team of killers, I feel like it would be a certain sense of codependence, but their body language wouldn't read any form of insecurity. It would be like, Oikawa would be, I guess, lack of better terminology, but like, he would be the leader. But I don't think, like, in terms of body language, this for Mattsun just feels too soft and like he's too reliant. Like, I want a certain level of codependence. Is my basil growing back? Is my basil coming back from the dead? I've been neglecting that thing. Anyway, but that being said, there's something about the body language here that reads more of codependent but very insecure. When, as a team of killers, like, yes, Oikawa would be the leader, and I think there would be a certain degree of toxic codependency, but it would be less of how do I put this? But anyway, what I'm trying to say is there's something about this body language that doesn't read confident. Like, it doesn't read like remorseless killer. It reads like I'm hugging this leg because I'm scared. But I don't know if it's because of the hollow face that I have for him right now, or it's just this leg is too tucked in and it looks like he's hugging this leg rather than him just sitting and see, that's the reason I kind of wanted his body turned out facing forward. Maybe have his head. Not expecting Mattsun to give me this much problems. Okay. Are we even gonna really get anything like substantial done today? Because the other option is to have him rest his chin here. And then have his arm drape. God, that looks weird. Because the other thing about Mattsun that is making this very difficult for me is that he's not a small person. Like I said, he is the tallest out of all four of them. And trying to shrink him down to fit this, I'm just struggling with trying to figure out what position to put him in because he's not a small guy. Like Mattsun is a large man. Because I'm almost tempted to say like more forward facing. More forward facing with this. Maybe we can do that side profile thing. Maybe have him like try to reach for the knife because everything ultimately is gonna be like the knife is ultimately gonna be the point where all of their eyes are like trying to go to. Given Maki's no, Maki is in direct line of sight because if I do this with his head. Ow, my neck. Could almost be more interesting if he's trying to reach towards the knife. And then Maki would just be the one like I don't know, Mattsun, what am I gonna do with you? I thought I was gonna give me problems. Well, no, it's you. Yeah, I genuinely don't know what to do with Mattsun. Like to make this make sense, there's just a lot of things to consider that I didn't take into account earlier. Loki makes me regret not just giving them a generic standing pose for just all of them and having Oikawa at the center. And maybe Mattsun just giving Maki a piggyback ride. But I'm already 2 characters in. I'm not gonna quit on Mattsun. Can make Oikawa's arms a little beefier, maybe. Okay, on topic. I'm not sure. Like, do I want him like gesturing in some way, shape, or form towards the knife? Like, have more of like him pointing towards it, and then like, let's say this is his hand. God, I am like, let's say this is his hand. Like I'm doing it right now with my own fingers. Like pointing very loosely. Boy, did my brain just go into the gutter. Anyway. Or the other thing is, I could see if like he's asking to like for the knife, just in a more of a like asking if he could see the knife. But then I don't think his head resting on Oikawa's lap wouldn't really make sense. But I think we do kind of want to move away from that and have him like more of an active, because I think part of like resting it is what's kind of lending itself to Mattsun being more of a vulnerable character, if that's the right word, rather than like an active. Yeah, because I could have his body also twist towards the knife. So have this and this like in two different directions, so that way he could still be forward facing. Okay. 3 times the charm. Okay, so let's actually try to draw him in. In my opinion, like when it comes to drawing, this is where the most challenging part is figuring out the composition, which in retrospect, I probably should have thumbnailed it first just to help solidify how they would have been positioned. Because this is a case of it worked perfectly in my head, but now on paper, taking everything into account, it's no longer making sense. I know I'm making this far too wide. Trust the process. Trust the process. I did move the bench back, so that's less of an issue now. Literally blocking him in. because ultimately I think I am going to have his body twist like this. And then literally have his leg. That's all I'm going to say for myself. I think his... This is a little too... Okay, I think we're getting to where he needs to be in the most freakish way possible. In retrospect, yeah, I should have set up models for this piece. But I got lazy. And now I'm working harder than I need to. Okay. So let's just... I'm just blocking in the shape of the eyes, so I know what I have to work with. His eyebrows are also on the bushier side. The problem is he's too tall for this. How do I want to position him in one of the weird ways I sit? Like, I feel like if I want to get him to fit there, like genuinely, I'm gonna have to make him sit in a very weird way. I don't know what I'm doing. I genuinely don't know what I'm doing. Like, he has to sit in a very weird way if I want him to fit here. Because I don't want to move him onto the bench. Am I literally just gonna move him to the middle and just have Maki literally sit in his lap? Because that was the original idea, was just have Maki let it sit in Matsun's lap. Because the other option, aside from Monstrosity 1, would be putting Mattsun in here, having his arm rest there. But again, we run into the issue that Mattsun is not a small man. Mattsun is not a small man. Am I gonna just have to place him between Oikawa's legs? Because height-wise, we could just let him, like, drape this arm over this leg. Just let him chill there. And then literally just have Maki, like, what am I doing? I really should have thumbnailed this before even getting started. And set up 3D models. I should have set up 3D models if I knew I was going to work with 4 different bodies. Because ultimately, the other option is letting him sit here and then cramming him up in here. You're a giant is the problem. Because if I make it like that, sketching, my favorite part of the process. Oh, he's gonna become an issue. You know, it's not too late now to set up a model for Mattsun at the very least. Okay, let's see what I have. Ooh, do I even have anything? Ooh, okay. Do I not have any poses? I have all the materials. Oh, okay, here we go. Here are the pose packs. I don't need the couples. Oh shit, did not realize you guys could actually see some of those poses. Yeah, I got some of the more sexier packs. Of course, it would be in downloads, but I know I had a few. Do I even have the defaults in here anymore? Okay, wait. Do I have anyone sitting here? Nope. No, I do not need couples poses. Okay, those are brushes. I was wondering what the heck that was for a second. Reasons I need to learn how to read Japanese so I can understand what's going on in my materials folder. Do I seriously not have? No, no, no. Do I not even have the defaults downloaded? Hold on, I need to. What do I have from the asset store? Because it amazes me I don't have any of the defaults in there. But then again, I have accidentally moved things around by accident without meaning to. Oh, what do you mean deleted? What's deleted? I guess not. Okay. I thought I had more poses downloaded. That sucks because apparently the only filtering options you get for when in your downloaded materials is either like I do have a cross-legged model. At the very least. I might have a different one. Okay. It's in the material catalog. Okay, so I don't have it downloaded. Okay. And now to expose myself even more. How long is it going to take to download, actually? Okay. Back down the list. I actually don't know if it's going to take forever to download. No one coming in yet. Nope. I don't know how long it's going to take to download from the asset store. I'm surprised it doesn't go directly into the poses. Okay. Didn't expect it to show up like that, but you know what? I got what I needed. I got what I needed. Jump scared everyone, including myself. Okay, it's been a hot minute since I used one of these, so don't mind me. Okay, no, I need you on the floor. It's been a hot minute, so. And is this the one I'm gonna say? Oh shit, it's too far back. Okay, now to untangle the rest of him. I think we're gonna begin with this leg. Hopefully I remember how to do. Okay. Not what I was intending to do, but I'll take it. I need the one that's gonna nope. No. Or is it related to the hip? I don't know, that's not the. Okay, that takes care of that. You take care of that. Then you should be the one that swings it out. Okay, who rotates? Which one of you rotates? Okay, eventually got it. This only takes care of that flex. I do need the hip flexor to turn out. That does not help. Okay, there we go. There we go. Eventually found it. Not back there. Jesus Christ. Why are you floating? Okay, there we go. I don't know why that likes to send. What does that one do specifically? I'm beginning to think that's not the one I actually want. This is a rotation. Okay. Yeah, this is rotation. Why do you send it? Yeah, this is the one that's supposed to move him across the plane. But why do you do it so drastically? And why did you make him float? Oh, please sit your ass down, sir. There. Now I do need to detangle the rest of him. Okay. Bit of a dramatic turn. And I do need... Actually, I think I can just... And make that... Please bend your knee. Your knee. What? Oh, that's his toe. There we go. Okay, what is... Okay, that's not what I intended to do. This rotation? Yeah, this is rotation. Actually, I do want to see what is happening back here. I think, yeah, that's the one, but I don't want it rotating. Okay. I think the other issue is his neck. Okay. This rotation? Nope. Okay, I do think that kind of fixed a little bit of our issues. Okay, nope. Okay. I think the rest of you needs to no. I could have done this from the beginning. Like, I 100% could have. I've done it in the past. But good to know I still got it. Even though I don't. I need you to move. Okay, this is the one I needed. No. Okay, no. Yeah, that's gonna move. There we go. And let's rotate you back. Okay, that's the rotate. No, right. I need your arm to lift. You know what? You can float all you want. Actually, lower the opacity so I can see how it's... Once again, the issue is Mattsun is not a small man. He is not a small man. I need that larger... Okay. Is this in like centimeters? Okay, yeah, that's in. No. Oh wait, I did not even realize the tour box could do that. Okay. Hold on. Da, 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 da. Okay, actually, that works, kind of. I need the control. I need the thing that will rotate his arm. Or is it? Yeah, it's gonna be in the shoulder. Okay, so we got the shoulder rotation. Now I need the arm to rotate. No. The red one, maybe? Okay, no, because you're at limit. Then, what's this do? Oh, no. Because the only is the one that, and then that controls the wrist. What does that even do? Okay. See, because that is too much. Because what I need is for, there we go. But there's also something about this. Oh my gosh, no. And what I'm saying is that Mattsun is not a small man by any. His neck is still weird, doing something weird. I think it's a head tilt. Okay, I can get his head to do all that, but I can't get his arm to move the right way. Oh, now you decide to do what I need you to do. I need to remember that the tour box is also very responsive to this, which, in my opinion, is handy for the tour box to do, but when you want the tour box to zoom you out, it moves a limb instead. And then, like I said, the bench is right here. Oh, Jesus Christ. So, like I said, is that the bench is back here. But you kind of lose a little bit more of the more expressive gestures because this is too stiff for what I want. And his arm is reaching, well, I guess I could put it so that his arm is resting further up on Oikawa's thigh, so it's like a little bit more extended backwards. I feel like his leg. Why do his legs feel short? Oh, actually, that feels like a more reasonable ratio. Hmm. I think this gives us a place to work. I'm not going to set it up precisely to how I need it because that's going to take too long for my liking, but if anything, this gives me a better idea of what I'm searching for. Yeah, this isn't quite right, to be completely honest. Like, it doesn't feel quite right, but it's a step in the right direction because I can't get some of his joints into the position that I need them. Yeah, because I could have his arm rested further up on his thigh, but I need. Actually, that could work because his arm is going to be rested further up on his thigh. Like I said, the only thing I need to keep in mind is where his rib cage is against the side of the. I think that's going to work. I think that will work. It still needs a few adjustments, but that's workable. For the love of God. It's going to need a few adjustments, but it's still workable. So we'll kind of block that in. He looks like he's got a tail. Oh, hi. You gave me a heart attack. Okay, I was not expecting that. A cat just wandered up to my sliding door, and I wasn't expecting to see him. He wasn't expecting to see me. We stared at each other, and I think I scared him off when I said hi. Um, Sorry, buddy. You kind of caught me off guard there. Did give me a bit of a heart attack. Actually, where have you been? I'm having a rat problem. Sorry. Actually, would need to tuck that. Okay. Yeah, that actually works a lot better now. Again, gonna need some adjustments, but at least this puts him in a workable position because again, while his rib cage is going to be up against the bench, his arm is going to be extended further out rather than just coming straight across. Because I think that's what was throwing me off, and we can have it like go in deeper, rest higher up on Oikawa's thigh, and then have his arm kind of just like resting there. Okay. I think I've reached my limit for the evening. Mattsun is going to need quite a bit of work, but at the very least, I have an idea of where he's supposed to be in the overall composition, and it somewhat makes sense. He was a very pretty orange cat, too. Okay, anyway. So I think this is going to be it for the evening. I'm pretty much at my limit, and not as much progress as I wanted to make on Mattsun, but for the most part, at least we have him blocked into the image. And now we just need to work everybody else in. I think this is a better proportion because again, Mattsun is not a small man. He's pretty large. And yeah, with that, I'll see you guys tomorrow for the crochet stream. So I have it as a TBD on my card, but I think tomorrow I'm going to fish out the yarn that I need in order to make Usagi Modoki. If not, I'm going to work on my melody. And yeah, with that, I hope everybody has a good night. Thank you for joining me for this evening stream, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for the crochet stream. Good night.